Good morning. I hope everybody's having a great morning. Thanks for coming in. If you're already in,
Morning.
and how are you doing this morning, Todd?
Sore again, but I'll live. So
you only got one thing listed yesterday.
that's it.
Well, you sound like me. I'll tell you what.
Tired, and I'm going to list whenever I feel like listening.
If you wanted to work all the time, you'd get you another job, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'm done with the job market.
Now, did teaching private lessons ever cross your mind after you retired?
Nah. I never much cared for sitting in a studio one-on-one with a student. Too many times the kid would call in 5 minutes before they're supposed to be there and say, or Mom took me clothes shop and I won't be able to.
Yeah, back when I was
For
before I
steady
started
money.
driving myself and I was taking piano lessons, my mom, we had an appointment, with my piano teacher. We were there. We did not miss it.
Yeah. There's Craig the Truth.
I just think it's rude. Good morning, Hank.
Yeah, it is rude, but
and it's not
what do? Do you cuss the student out and then they won't come back at all. So nah.
Yeah. But it's a case where it's it's not teaching people responsibility,
Yep.
I mean,
so I would rather just teach a class,
Right.
I think I would rather substitute teach than be a private lesson teacher, but I'm not going to do either. I don't.
Have you ever substituted?
Yeah. It's okay. They don't pay good enough to make it worth the trouble. I mean, if I was starving, I would substitute teach private lessons, but only if. I could go back and get my school license and drive a school bus some more, but nah.
You know what? You probably could take okay. If you're going to substitute teach for one day, you probably could take that. Say, okay, I'm going to be at work for one day. and take that one day and list and run, take care of stuff for your business and make a lot more money and not have to put up with the headaches of,
Yeah,
of,
it's true. I
did
could
you,
list 5 things on eBay and I could substitute teaching.
you taught high school, right? Or did you teach middle school?
Middle school and high school, both.
Yeah, that's the way our band director was. He taught junior high or the middle school in the morning, and then he came over to the high school for 6-period band. And because
Pretty much
usually,
6th grade through 12th grade, yeah.
yeah, because with band being 6-period, we could go out on the football field if they were not practicing, and work on halftime shows and stuff like that. Let me take care of some few things here. Good morning, David. The truth. Good morning, Craig, the land chart picker. Good morning, Hank Allen Cash. Hank Allen Cash. Good morning, chick picker Valerie. The crazy card Mike. Good to see you in here. Hello, Sakuna. Good to see you in here, and I hope I pronounced that right. Because some words the Southern tongue just cannot say. Good morning, Cindy. It's good seeing you in here this morning too.
Sakuna,
But
Bahama, come, I'm pretty. Oh,
it's yeah, Valerie's Valerie's on her second week of her 5 weeks of vacation, so I'm sure she's just relaxing and chilling out with them babies.
well, that's not too bad fishing, picking. We didn't. I think substitute teaching in Texas now, the average is probably about 70, 80 bucks a day.
Good morning, fishing picking. It's I've got several friends that are school teachers. And I've got a niece-in-law, the one that just got married. She is a middle school vice principal. And not so much the Kayla, who is the middle school teacher. I mean, middle school vice principal. She really likes it, but she's young and naive. But the ones that's been teaching for, let's see, Bruce and I have known each other for 30 years, and he's been a teacher. Some of the stuff that he talks about, I would have already started waiting tables at the Golden Corral.
Well, the rewarding parts of teaching were worth it to me to do it. And there was I enjoyed most of what I did teaching.
Right.
But the parts that are not enjoyable, they just drag on you.
Yeah.
Like making out lists and doing paperwork and giving parent meetings and meeting the special education students, and conferences, and believe it or not all administrators are fun to work for. So it's kind of like having a boss. So, you feel like putting up your doorstep and lighting the bag and run away, ring the doorbell and run away. You know,
Right.
so great being a seller and not having a boss.
Good morning, Patty. Good morning, Carol. Yeah, I never had, which I just had 30 employees that were probably worse than 12-year-olds. And they were all guys. Well, I had one, a secretary, a bookkeeper that was not, I didn't count her in that group, but the rest of them were guys that worked on field crews. And they, Monday mornings they were calling in because they were probably hung over and all that kind of stuff, But I don't know. Like I said, my friend Bruce, he's a math and science teacher. He's got master's degrees in both of them, and he has to teach the spectrum of from the, I don't know what y'all the professional term is, it from the kids that's not that in tune with it to the super geniuses. He's got the whole spectrum in classes and stuff like that. And the kids that really like math and science that come in there and they just absorb it, um they he really likes that. And he has, he's got several students that now have their PhDs in science, and he goes to the graduations if they graduate, locally. And he says it's all worthwhile. But then there's days he says he just wants to throw his hands up and run screaming out of the building,
Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Sadie. How far?
There's so many things you have to be flexible with teaching. Like, one of the high school students get in a wreck and get killed, and it's just a fact of life. And I'm ever taught in at least once a year, one student would die, and then the next day of school after that is all a dedication to that student, and kids are leaving your classroom to go for counseling, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's good to get together, but you got to be flexible. The plans you made to teach that day, they're just shot. You have to go into flexible mode for a situation like that. And I don't think I ever taught in a school district where at least twice a year the electricity went out at the school or something, and that just most all students.
Right.
Especially with the way they have to build schools now. Used to classrooms all had windows that you would open up to let issues, but if the electricity goes off in Central Texas, the way they have to build schools now, they don't put windows or anything.
Yeah, that was like
from outside forces. That classroom gets about 90 degrees in about 10 seconds.
In Charleston, I went to, all the schools were flat. No, there was no 2-story buildings because I guess there was a lot of land available, and they built the traditional flat schools. And then when we moved to Rock Hill, which I was in the 7th grade, Sullivan Middle School was like 3 stories and parts of it, which they were all there was a hallway down the middle and all the classrooms faced out. when they built a new junior high over near where I was at, and so that we were transferred to that school for my 8th and 9th grade. And some of the classrooms had, the ones faced the outside, but then they had a courtyard, and all the classrooms faced it. I mean, there's, some faced it. Well, that was all fine and dandy if we lost power or whatnot. You still had light, but because it was a courtyard, you did not have any air circulation, and so it would get just as hot as if we didn't have any windows. And so it was like everybody it's going home. And then the high school, they built a new high school too, and it was the same way. And back in them days, boys couldn't wear shorts to school. That wasn't part of the dress code. And
Right.
yeah, there used to be dress codes. But
I remember when I was right during the time where things started getting more lax and more lax and more lax. When I was in 8th grade, girls still had to wear skirts to school.
Yeah.
Then when I was a freshman in high school, the girls could wear coordinated pantsuits. And then when I was a sophomore in high school, broke loose and everybody just wore blue jeans.
Right.
Times
I remember
change.
we had a cold snap in Charleston, and the girls would wear pants wear a skirt over their pants. They had on long pants, but they wore a skirt or a dress over the top of them. And now thinking back about it, I'm like, what the hell was up with that? I mean, serious,
And I remember the
But
mini
yeah,
skirt
I
days
loved
when
whatever
all the
shorts in
girls
high
got
school.
the mini skirt days when all the girls got taken to the girls' gymnasium and the women teachers would measure how far above the bottom of the skirt was. All the girls kneel down on their knees.
Yeah, when
They
Vanya
did that
was
about 6 times a year at my high school. Yeah. If you're a girl, you have above the knee. If you were a short girl, it was 5 inches above the knee. Goofy rules. And then hair codes. Well, same deal. When I was 8th grade, you had to have your hair not touching your ears, and et cetera, et cetera. A bunch of the guys would wig to school, and as soon as they stepped out on the parking lot at the end of the school, they'd rip that wig off and let their hippie hair down on their shoulders.
It's when Vanya started at the high school, freshmen had to do this orientation, and parents had to show up for this meeting. And this meeting was, well, I voiced, as they were going out, I said, there was administrator standing there and saying, welcome, because we had on our little name tags and whatnot. Welcome to South Mech and blah, 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 blah. What did you think of the meeting? I said, this is the biggest waste of my time. I said, you could have sent home a note to me and covered everything, and we would have complied by it just like he's going to comply now. But I see why you have this meeting, because they were talking about girls' bra straps couldn't show. They couldn't wear any kind of top that would cause the bra strap to show.
Right.
And it was, well, what if they have a dress that's got spaghetti straps? Does the bra strap show? Yes. Okay, then that's not part of
Mhm.
the dress code. Also, the principal or the vice principal who was a guy said, and I just want everybody to know that I have a supply of belts for boys that they can borrow if they don't have one, but I better not see anybody's underwear. I mean, he was adamant about that. But
Oh, there's
there's people that
what?
just don't get it, or their baby, well, that's just taking away their individuality. Blah 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 blah. I've got I've got a friend that their children they have three sons, and they went to a private school that started at kindergarten and went through um, high school, and they wore a school uniform every day the whole time, and the school uniform was different for different age brackets. Like the elementary kids had like just a polo shirt with the logo on it and a pair of shorts and white socks and and white sneakers. And then the middle school, they had shorts. They were like gray shorts, a white shirt and a necktie, a school necktie, and a like a vest.
Yeah.
Gray socks, black shoes. And the high schoolers wore long pants. They wore a shirt and school tie, a white shirt, school tie, and a blazer,
Hmm.
and black dress shoes. The seniors, you could tell the seniors because they wore burgundy jackets, whereas the rest of the time they wore the other kids wore black ones because their colors were burgundy and black, and that was supposed to so they would stand out for their final year. But that was it. Now, and my friends, they loved it because they knew there was no going to having to go out and buy all these different clothes for them to wear because they wanted them, because most of their time was being spent in school and they had to wear these uniforms. So
Yeah.
um
I taught at
and they
a
didn't
school
have a choice.
district. I taught at a school district where the school had a big bunch of orange scrubs donated, pants and tops, and they took all those and put big old labels on the back of them that said dress code violator. And if a kid came to school inappropriately dressed, they had to put on a set of those scrubs. And those got to be popular. Kids started taking them home and wearing around town after school was out or all summer long. It was pretty nice logo, dress code violator. But
It became a style, huh?
yeah, it became a fashion statement, I'm a rebel. I'm a dress code violator. you know.
Well, when we were in Australia, um, our tour bus driver, but Australia was where all the prisoners were sent and whatnot from the UK, and um, he said it used to be nobody, no one said anything about their ancestors coming over as a prisoner, and he says now it's like a status symbol, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
which this would have been like in 1997. He's like, it's a status symbol, but my family was one of the first people to come over here because they were prisoners, and he said it was like my grandma, and my grandpa were both sent over here because they were, criminals from the UK. Good morning, my haunted house. So anyhow, um, I threw the link out there to see if anybody wanted to come in, but I guess it's going to be the Tom and Todd show today. TNT, explosive. um, so what you got on your schedule for today? Oh, it's Thursday. You got to go see the old ladies, don't you? Todd.
Sorry about that. I'm making me some more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay, that's all right. I just thought I just dropped out. You going to go see the old ladies today? Okay, Carol, thanks. Thanks, Hank. I just everything went quiet, and I didn't know whether I dropped it out or not. Miss Valerie should be back, I guess, next week. I think it's next week. So she'll be she'll be more entertaining. Good morning, Simply Dana. It's good seeing you this morning. I hope everybody's had some good sales and whatnot, and finding some good things at the thrift stores and however else you make your you find your product.
Wow. Today is Thursday. I was thinking today was Wednesday. I lost a day somewhere.
My week has been all messed up. And because, well, Roberta was home because her tooth, and that seems to be on the downhill side now. So, Tessa, are you still in here? We have this thing. People keep sending me these these clips off of Facebook about this place that's over in Greenville, South Carolina, which is about 2 hours from us. And there's this business that they get all this Amazon. Have you heard about this, Tessa? She said, yeah. They get all these Amazon returns, or where I guess it's not like when you say just dispose of it, and Amazon pallets it up and sells it off. Anyway, it's over in Greenville or between Greenville and Spartanburg, which is from here is a straight shot down 85 south. And people are said, have you? They're going to go there and buy some stuff to send to Amazon, and I'm like, whoa, back that wagon up here a minute. Good morning. They if they're returning it from, I'll find the link and send it to you, Tessa. I'm like, if it's Amazon returns that, or clearance or whatever, that means it didn't sell. Why would you buy it and send it back in? But it's like everything's $5 on Saturday, $4 on Sunday, $3 on Monday, $2 on Monday. I mean on Tuesday, something like that. And if you're going over there and buying stuff for yourself, or maybe stuff that might sell on eBay, but I don't think I'd really want to be buying stuff that had the Amazon label on it that shows that it was had been sent into like FBA.
Yeah, you're asking to get shut down on Amazon like that.
Yeah. Hold on just a second.
That's true. Some of the stuff you would get on Amazon returns are perfectly new and fine. I would guess.
Is he going somewhere?
See the answers, they get something returned and it's with the tag still on it and such, and they send it back to Amazon. But I don't do Amazon, so I'm not going to worry about it.
It's mom's house though. It's not like
For crying in a bucket.
I wouldn't mind getting Amazon returns to sell on eBay. I think that'd be the way to go for me if I needed some more stock.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of, I guess, no sales stuff mixed in with it. I mean, Roberta and I have talked about going over there and just look and see, what kind of stuff's in there.
So you have an actual physical place you can go buy a pallet of stuff.
Well, it's all, good morning, Bumcrack. It's all sort of like the bins. They have it out on big tables.
Mm.
And from what I gather, they have, like when you go in there, everything they have is out. And so over the next 4 days, they pick it out. And I think the last day, it's anything you want is free. So, I told Roberta, I said, go over there and check it out. And I'll maybe make one more trip down there when it's like on the free day, just to see if there's stuff that, you could part out. So I don't know. But Tessa, I'll send you and Patty, I'll send you the link to, or a link to that message, so you can, if y'all want to go down there and check it out.
Bum
But
cracks
I've
here.
seen, yeah, I saw him. Now, Bum Crack's from the UK, so he was used, we were talking about schools. He was used to probably getting his bum cracked with a ruler. Because I think they still had corporal punishment up until the late 70s. Yeah, I think so too, Tessa. That she says there's a lot of returns that are on Amazon or buyer's remorse. We've got a new Amazon warehouse here in Charlotte that I mean, they just put the building name up, or the name on the building, and man, it's a huge place. And I told my oldest son, I said, you need to go there and see about getting a job. And my wife's like, no, I've talked to people that have worked for Amazon's warehouses. Nobody wants to work there. That's the reason they pay them like $15 an hour for grunt work. Because they apparently work your butt off. It's So did you get your mom all situated? She's all settled in?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, except for like putting pictures on the walls and Yeah, she's settling in pretty good. She's an outgoing. It won't take her long to make friends there.
Well, that's good. So
She's
is
not.
Gwen and your sister-in-law going to go over there and hang pictures for her and everything?
Yeah, my sister-in-law, bless her heart, has helped a lot. So she's my sister-in-law's a blessing as far as my mom is concerned, at least lately. But my sister-in-law was like, well, this new apartment is costing a lot, but none of us wanted mom to live with us. I know that sounds terrible, but mom's pretty demanding of your time. Got a sale. Sold a pool cue.
Did you say you had? You sold a pool cue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I went to the sporting goods auction about 7 or 8 months ago, and I still got a bunch of that stuff. Some of it's big and some of it's. I've sold a bunch of basketballs and a bunch of pool cues and a bunch of. Then
Well, that's cool.
there was a sporting goods company called Big Five, and I guess they shut down a store somewhere in our region, and there was pallets of stuff at the auction for that you could bid online and go pick it up. Pretty.
Craig said, I last got smacked on the backside at school in around 1985. It left a red handprint for weeks.
Handprint.
Wow. Yeah.
It was not legal to punish a child with your hand in any school I ever been at.
Well,
I've seen a lot of kids paddled in my day. In nearly every school I taught at, I was the go-to guy when the principal needed a SWAT. They come to the hallway right outside the band hall, and just trying to go out in the hall, and principal would have a kid and said, bend over, whap, whap. Because the principal, when they were giving corporal punishment, I had to have a witness.
Yeah.
And as soon as he got done, here, sign this paper, Mr. Parker. Okay, thanks. Now go back and teach your kids something. Go back with my kids, and the kids were all trying to listen at the door, see what all was happening, who was getting it.
Right. Oh, crap. I only got paddled in school one time, and I was probably in the third grade, and I forgot my damn pencil. And that got me a swat with a daggum ruler. That was it.
Shoot, I remember elementary school, the teacher just stand up, bend over, you're acting up.
That's well, that's just basically what it was. I forgot my pencil, and it was like stand up, touch your toes, whack with the ruler, and he went up and got sit back down, and he went and got me a pencil to let me borrow you a pencil for the day.
Every time I got smacked at school, I go home and tell my parents, I got to at school today for whatever. Stuffing paper down the girl's shirt in front of me or something, And did you deserve your swats? Okay.
It's at times are just and even I go back and I talk to like at reunions, and when I just run into people I went to high school, the ones that were kind of trouble in high school, that have gone on to become lawyers and doctors and whatnot. They said, I would have rather got a paddling at school than have to pull detention or that kind of thing. And, so maybe the detention thing for high schoolers is better because they have, it gets into their free time, which is sort of like, what was it? Fast Times at Richmond High. Was that the one where the principal or the teacher showed up at the boy's house on a Friday night?
Something like that.
Because he's like,
shoot, I remember
go ahead.
In 7th grade, I skipped 4 sets of exercises PE class, and the coach found out about it. And man, those gym shorts, they gave me a couple of swats. And then you shower out after PE to see the red marks on your butt, Dang, Parker, he got you good. Then the next day they want to see it again. Did it bruise any? No. Oh, man. I remember when Coach got me, I was bruised for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I've mentioned it before. My high school principal, everybody liked him. And he could be real. He didn't like sending people home. He didn't like expelling people. He just made your life hell at school. You would wipe down the fronts of lockers and that kind of stuff. Resell King's in our little audience this morning. Now he is a hard-working little son of a gun. He's in the military, and plus he's reselling on a big time scale. He looks like he's 16 if you haven't ever seen him before. I put the link in the chat, Brandon, if you want to come in. I hope I've got the right name.
Who's that, Resell King?
Resell King. He's a young fella. He's over on Couple of Pickers. If y'all haven't checked out Couple of Pickers, y'all run over and subscribe to them and find out when they're so that you'll get notifications when they're online again, because I think they're online they have a show every night. Were you like in primary school bum crack when you got beat for picking up the plastic drinking cups? Or were you a high schooler or middle schooler? I've got a friend that grew up in a town between London and Southampton, and he said he said that you get your butt beat in a heartbeat down there, and then yeah, Resell King, I haven't looked 16 since I was about 16. um, he said that those teachers would, which he had male teachers. He said they would beat the crap out of you. I said, well, at least you graduated with, with good grades and whatnot. He said, well, that was kind of iffy at times. Mr. Hand. They I don't know. My two boys that went to a private school, I would get phone calls. My youngest one, I'd get a phone call from his teacher every day when he was in the 7th grade for talking. And she and her husband founded the school, and I told the headmaster, her husband, I said, look, if you ever look at your wife's phone, we do not have anything going on. I said, she's calling about Sasha, and he said, oh, I know. He said, I know. And they would have to do detention, and they would clean bathrooms and mop floors and stuff like that. I said, that's just too easy on them. I said, you just need to get you a big old ruler over there, big old meter stick over there, and just haul off and beat their behinds a couple of times.
Yeah. I remember one time out in the hallway witnessing thing received from the principal, and the old wooden paddle was broke. Dang, you hit him hard. He said, I don't know, this paddle. Anyway, and the kid asked the principal, can I have the paddle? I'm going to get hard. And the kid took it home and put varnish on it and finished it and hung it on the bedroom wall. I broke the principal's paddle.
Bumcrack said he was about 14 in high school when he got that pop. And he says, my mother marched me down to our local city councilor's house and made me drop my pants to show him the hand mark at his front door. Oh, I was so embarrassed.
Oh, wow.
I bet you were. But it sounds like your mother would have put her handprint right up beside the other one if you hadn't done what she said. So, Todd, have you got a lot of stuff going on? Are you planning for your reselling business this year?
No,
You want
I'm
to
just gonna
come from a 6-figure income to a 7-figure income this year?
I just need to keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, you're doing pretty good.
The last couple of years, I've done pretty good. I need to, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, man, I'm starting to run out of good stuff. I still got plenty of crap in the death pile I can dig out and test and clean list, but that's no fun. I would rather get new stuff, that's new and exciting. But then this auction rolled around up again, It's good stuff.
I've come to
Yeah,
the conclusion that as far as for me, um, if I don't get something listed within a couple of weeks, I need to just get rid of it because it'll never get listed. Because I'll go out and buy something, and if I come home and I'll sit down, I'll list it all right then. But if it doesn't get listed right then, probably chances are it's not going to get listed.
well, it's like, when you're casting your own bullets, you'll have a lead melter. Well, I bought a couple of lead melters, gosh, over a year ago from a garage sale, and they still had a little bit of lead in the bottom of them. And I never taken those out and heated them up and poured out the old lead, so I can. They're sitting in there. I got all kinds of stuff like that.
Well, I would figure in Texas that would be pretty popular.
There's a really good market for those. I just gotta plug them in, heat them up, pour off the old lead that's left in the bottom of them, and I just haven't gotten around to it. I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I got a few electronics I need to test and clean up, and get sold. I just wind up doing other things instead.
Well, you get phone calls. You get phone calls where you got to go change mother-in-law's tires and help sons put up new gutter on their houses. And
yeah. I called him yesterday to see if there was one corner that we didn't get finished. He'd go, "Dad, you look tired. Why don't you go on home?" So I did, and I called him yesterday to see if he was at work, of course. So I was asleep on the couch, so I never heard him call back. I'll call him again today.
did you Hey Beth, reseller rowboat. Is Shirley Plummer your sister-in-law or your your sister? She says, Todd, glad mom is settled. I personally need my own space. Love my daughter, don't want to invade her space.
Yeah.
You look at these TV shows and you look at, like, especially British shows, documentaries and whatnot, where, like, families, I mean, several generations would live in the same house. I just don't know how they do it. I love my parents. I love them to death. But I don't think I could live with my mother or my father. No, my mother-in-law, I probably could, but I just can't. I can't imagine living with my parents. I told Roberta, I said, you know what we need to do is we need to go ahead and just build a big house and the second floor has like 3 apartments, one for each one of the boys. And we'll play Buckingham Palace, where everybody lives in the same house. And Roberta was like, "Yeah, it would be fine until the daughter-in-law started coming along. Then that would probably be issues." I mean,
It's
Maggie's
still
Maggie,
a
Maggie's got
documentary
that
or
new baby
something
coming.
on.
Go ahead.
I just watched a documentary on people buying homes now that have 2 or 3 residences in the home. Separate living spaces, but all in the same property. So they're becoming where you've got a grandma apartment on the side of the house or whatever. Just because the cost of assisted living is so high.
That's the truth.
If you
That
can,
is, yeah.
if you can stand your elder others, then it's a lot more cost effective to have a second living space than go into assisted living. I mean, my mom's apartment costs like $3,700 a month. Now that'll
That's
buy you a
utilities
pretty
included.
nice house.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's utilities included, right?
Yeah, that's utilities, cleaning, meal. I think she gets 2 meals a day.
Right.
And I think she still does her own laundry. They have a laundry room on each floor. So she can do her own laundry still. But yeah, it's an amazing place. Mom is the town she lived in. Mom had a nice house, but mom really was, and mom isn't rich, but she was one of the better off people in the town, little town in Oklahoma. So the people were all lower income mostly, and so now she's in this apartment, and people that can afford to live there are all, they're not in there. So she may have a little culture shock there, being around more richier people like Sally. Hi, Sally. Hi, Sally.
Hey, Sally.
Hi.
She can't hear.
Hi.
Or can you hear us, Sally?
Yeah, I can.
How you feeling?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
You back any better?
No. I actually I called for a chiropractor appointment, but it's not till Monday.
Oh God. Did you work last night?
Pretty bad right now. Yeah.
Well, you need to run your hot tub and get
Yeah,
in it.
I was hoping that it was going to be okay.
Well, I hate you're in pain because I live with someone that has that issue.
Yeah. I took medicine and it's like barely touching it.
What you taking?
Tramadol.
Okay.
I usually only take one, but I took 2 and I can't even tell I took anything.
You having you don't have any brownies about?
I do, but I don't want to mix the two, you know?
Okay. Well,
I
I
wouldn't
hate
want to
that
do that.
I hate that you're in pain, because I know how that
Yeah.
is. I
It's
mean,
not in my shoulder per se. It's like between my shoulder blade and my spine.
right. So it's right up at like at the base of your neck, up in that area.
No, it's a little bit lower,
Okay.
like almost at the end of your shoulder blade.
Okay.
But it's not in the shoulder blade itself. It's in the middle between the spine and the shoulder blade. And I don't have any idea or whatever what happened. I just woke up one day and it was like that. So
That's the word on the street, Beth. That's what she's been saying. I think she and Brandon got carried away a little bit. They're not young spry chickens like they used to be. You know, they can't do that kind of stuff now.
I'd say bring it, babe, bring it.
The a
Yeah,
friend
I
of mine.
didn't think that the chiropractor place up the road here, I didn't think that they would take my insurance, but they do. If I would have known that, I would have went in there a long time ago. But they can't even get me in until Monday. So
Wow. Is he the
the
only
penguin
chiropractor
move,
in town?
huh?
I said, sorry, the penguin move. Is he the only chiropractor in town?
No, there's another one, but I don't like him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, you know, my joints hurt all the time, but these really cold mornings, boy, there's days I feel like I can't move, and
Mhm.
I know what that pain can be like when you got a back problem, or you got back pain.
Yeah, my boss, she didn't let me do anything this morning. She said, I can't have you out of commission, so you stand by the register and don't do anything, don't lift anything. And I'm like, I can't do that. It's just not me. You know this.
Right.
And she's like, well, you have to be at work, so, and I don't have anybody to cover you, so you need to be here. And if you get hurt even more than you already are, then I'm in trouble.
Hank,
So,
how about come in here and I'll put you on the screen by yourself and you show us the penguin move. That will help her back.
yeah, come help me, Hank.
I will give you the link so you can come in.
Come on.
Where's
Please.
Tara at this morning?
I don't know.
Your sister was in here early.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
A foam roller.
Fishing and Picking says, my father lives in a senior community with a golf, bowling alley, bar. It's funny to see 80-year-old men pimping out their golf carts and driving around the community. Do you really need a TV on your cart? Hell yes.
That's funny.
Good morning, Cornwall.
Say, Lil, you got jokes this morning. I could tell that I was having problems because I couldn't even hardly breathe.
Mm.
The pain was so bad sometimes that I felt like I couldn't, that I wasn't breathing right. And I had people asking me if I had a cold, And I'm like, no. I said, I have a problem in my back right now. And I said, I just don't feel right. And they're like, oh, well, it sounds like you have a cold. But I think it was my breathing.
Well, you better keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
It's
I don't have a foam roller, but I think I'm gonna have Brandon try and buff it out with a massager later on. And maybe even do like my sciatica, because if it's a pinched nerve or something, maybe doing the sciatica will help too on that side.
Couldn't
right.
hurt.
He hasn't got hit once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said it, Hank. Buff it out.
How's your sales been, Sally?
They freaking blew up yesterday. I listed like I only listed like 5 things yesterday. And then I think I had 4 on eBay, and I had another one on Posh yesterday. I sent one out in the morning, but then I had another one in the afternoon that I sent out this morning. So
Good.
Posh is doing really good for me right now.
How many items do you have on Posh?
Not many right now. Maybe 20. Cause I took everything off except some of the stuff that I got at Dollar General.
Right.
I took pretty much everything off. And I'm gonna have to put them back on, but I wanted to kind of like refresh my closet because I had sent offers and stuff like lowered the price for people, and so I wanted to kind of like clean it up. And so I think it's good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm happy
I'm
with it.
trying to get cranked back. You know, I sold my first item, so it kind of motivated me, Hank.
Yeah.
You can read Fishing and Pickens' little link. I mean, his little comment, Sally.
Yeah, I'll walk out of there with a happy ending on my back.
I think I've told the story before. When my boys first started going to the private school they went to, while their building was being finished, they were renting space in an office complex, and across the parking space, which it was like their edge of their building, a parking space, the drive, another parking space, and another building. Well, directly across from the entrance of their school was a therapeutic massage business establishment. Well, they got raided and busted for prostitution. And one of the teachers, actually it was my oldest son's teacher, she was a character in her own. She said these guys would come over there and they'd walk up to the door and they would rattle the door And then they would look in the window, and then they walk over and rattle the door again. And she said she got to the point where
Oh my gosh.
she just walk over to her because her door had like it was supposed to have been an entrance into an office or classroom. So she'd open up the door and she said, they're closed. They got busted for prostitution. And she said the guy would just kind of hold his head down like this and walk off,
Mm. Shame, shame, know your name.
Sharky Mom Deal said, Sally, is there a way to remove souls or not available from closets?
Yeah, Hank answered it. Souls can't be removed. I think they used to be able to be removed, but you can't do it anymore. But you can delete the items that you've marked not for sale. Yeah.
Yes, Sharky Mom Deals. That was therapeutic. A buddy of mine was in South Korea doing some work, and he went to a legitimate, massage place. And he said that little lady that was giving him the massage just about killed him. He said he hurt worse going in than he did coming out because she was like grabbing his arm and putting his elbow in the back of his spine and that type of stuff.
I like it rough like that.
Oh,
I used to go to I used to go to the mall, and I tell Brandon I'm going to have the Asians kick my ass. It's like, okay, have fun. So I go in there, and of course they had like a square in the middle of the mall, and they had like all these chairs for people to get massages, and give them $20 and let them work it out, man. They will. I think it was shiatsu massage, or whatever it's called.
I'll tell you what, I will go to Roberta and I do this about every other month. We go and I get a pedicure, and those women, first of all, just putting your feet in that hot tubs of whatever kind of solution that they have going there is the best. But then they'll start massaging your feet, and before they get the side grinder out to cut my toenails. Man, that's the best. They don't even have to cut my toenails. They just do that part. It's worth the money. Just the massage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When we went down to Florida, I went to Florida. When we went down to Myrtle Beach for that wedding we went to a couple months ago, they had a hot tub, and it wasn't super hot like most places are. And I went in there because it was cold down there, and we were on the ocean front. My joints were really bothering me, so I went down there and sat in that hot tub for about 45 minutes. And usually, you can only stay in them about 10 minutes before you cooked. But
not me.
This one was nice and comfortable, and I just sat there and just sat basically with a jet running in the middle of my back. Man, I just about went to sleep. If it hadn't been for the little youngins running around.
I can stay in a hot tub for an hour.
I don't like them when they're super hot.
Oh, I do.
No, it wasn't. It was a little warmer than lukewarm, Hank.
Ugh.
It was hot, but it wasn't scalding like most of them are because, between the chemicals and they're trying to keep the diseases down between the heat and the all the chemicals they have into it.
I was gonna say maybe it was just a really well peed in hot tub.
Yeah.
That's why I felt warm.
Yeah, Resale King. I've seen my wife and I refollow several YouTubers that live in Japan, and they've gone to those I forgot what they call them, but the places that they have like the hot baths and they have the little fishes in them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. I would like to start. I mean, I would like to try that one time. I'd probably freak out because that would not because of the fish sucking on my feet, just from the sensation.
I can't do that. I have such ticklish feet that I'd probably stomp them to death or something. I've been known to kick Brandon in the face more than once because he touched. I'd have him like massage my back and like my legs and stuff, and he think he's being real sneaky and trying to get my feet, and I kick him. Sorry. You know better. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. I'm just too ticklish.
Boy, that was a long massage. Resell King.
Woo! I love massages. I mean, even the thing for this chiropractor to take my insurance, because I just checked with them, like, God, I could have swore it was last year, but it might have been 1 or 2 years ago. To see if they take my insurance, and they didn't. But I guess they changed, and now they do. So God dang, I'll be in there. I'll have a freaking appointment every week if I can. I love going to the chiropractor. It's very addicting to me.
I've never been. I need to go try it one time. As long as I don't end up crippled.
I just want somebody to pull my head off. I feel like my spine is compacted,
Right.
I think I can probably grow a couple of inches if somebody really stretched my neck out, stretched my spine.
Hank says, "Well, I think the little fish are less disconcerting than the heavily peed in tub." Hank,
Yeah.
we've discussed this before, and y'all know Roberta and I, my wife Roberta and I, like going on cruises. I have yet to get into a swimming pool on a cruise ship because there's just too damn many people and too many kids on these cruise ships. They get in that swimming
Don't they keep
pool.
it
Huh?
well chlorinated?
Oh yeah, they're
Don't
chlorinated.
they keep it well chlorinated?
Yeah, but chlorination can only go to a point where it's going to start eating your skin off because it's so chlorinated. I just find it kind. I just stand and watch. Watch people
Yeah.
frolic. I'm not getting in the tub. I
Build
don't
your
know.
immune system up. It'll build your immune system up, Tom.
No, that's okay. It's that extreme illness, before your immune system is built up.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they're big, huge pools in the first place.
I thought Lori was going to do the show today.
She had to take her daughter to work.
Oh. Okay.
So Todd and I were hanging out, talking about getting beat in school, and Bumcrack, he enlightened us on his experience with getting beat in school. But I agree, Hank. It looks like there'd be a chemical reaction there or something.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the new ships, have adults only pools.
Oh.
And so, it's not like any toplessness or any of that kind of stuff going on, but it's just, a quieter area where people can go get in the pool. And so the next time we might try that.
That kids splashing you and stuff.
Yeah, which, I don't have a problem. When people are on vacations and kids are, they're on a vacation, I want them to have a good time and splash and whatnot. But it's, toplessness. Okay. That's your word for the day, Hank. Use it in a sentence. Because I'm not anti-kids or anything like that, because I've got 3 and I know how they are, and, all that kind of good bang. But I just, and normally the adult area is like kind of walled in, and it's got lots of glass, so you don't really get a crosswind, so it's usually hot. Hank, I'm beginning to worry about you. I'm gonna have to come down there, or you're gonna have to come up here, and I'm gonna have to take you out here on the lake and take you walking in the mud. You need to get mud up to your damn butt a couple of times. God dang, fish. I'm surprised you didn't end up in the brig. That's the reason people are falling off of ships. And just for the reference, for those that's never been on a cruise, you do not just fall off. Okay, you do not just fall off the cruise ship. The walls are too high. The railing's too high. You have to be messing around to fall off of a cruise ship. Now, the little kid that fell, I don't know all the circumstances about that, but an adult does just not fall off of a damn cruise ship. They're either drunk and they're like, "Woo, look at me. I'm taking selfies, over the side of the ship and everything like that." That's how people fall and get hurt or die. That's how you fall off of it. So when I hear about somebody falling off of a ship and they're suing the cruise line, I'm like, that's a bunch of BS. Somebody was doing something they weren't supposed to, or because they will throw your butts off the ship if they catch you doing crazy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Serenity area on Carnival Fish, because that's who we go on. Yeah, taking selfies. That's it. We need to do a reselling cruise. Get all the resellers together.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I didn't see this before, Beth. The last time I was on a cruise, the bar had a window at the bottom of the pool. No thanks. I don't want people in the bar watching my fat butt swim.
I think that would be funny.
I don't know. It's it can get kind of crazy on there, because it's with these drink packages where you get like 13 drinks a day for X amount of money. You'll see people going up to the breakfast buffet with their beer. Now if they've been up all night, I can understand that, but that's a little bit That's a little bit tough the first thing in the morning to have a beer with your breakfast. Bacon, eggs, and beer does not sound good to me.
I don't know if I could do that.
That's just, the smell of beer first thing in the morning. Nah. I hate cleaning up a party after a party first thing in the morning where there's been beer cans and stuff laid around. Beth, have you heard anything about when the eBay Open's going to be? Have they decided yet? Or they're not saying anything until like March, and then you got to kind of book everything. There's a lot of Sharky Mom deals. There's a lot of people that's tore up by 5:00 in the afternoon, and I think that's the reason they put limits on how many drinks you can get, is because of alcohol poisoning, and just the brig will only hold so many people.
I have some of that, Mary. I think I'm gonna go get it. Peaches and cream.
Good morning,
The other
Grandma.
night, whenever I got stoned and I ate 4 packages of freaking oatmeal because I told Brandon, I said, I'm gonna screw it up because I can't follow directions right now. And he was just laughing at me. And he says, well, you did it to yourself. You go make you go fix your munchies or whatever. So I was like, okay, well, I'm starving, so I'm going to make oatmeal. So I went in there and I made 2 of the raspberry or whatever it is that's in there. And then because I had like all the different flavors or whatever. No, I didn't eat it dry. You're crazy, Hank. No, I put a half a cup of milk because it has the envelopes have a line on them, and you're able to pour the milk or water in the package. And so I dumped the package in a bowl. I filled that up to the line, and then I did that on each of them. And then so I cooked it for like 2 minutes. And I got it out and it looked like it had too much milk in it. And so I was like, well, crap, it's all messed up now. I might as well put more oatmeal in there. So I put blueberry in there. I put 2 packages of blueberry in there. And and then I tried to put more milk, and I didn't even measure this time. And so I stirred it up really good, and I cooked it for another 2 minutes. And it was still very liquidy. So I messed it up somehow. And I don't know what I did. but I made it. Yeah, I made like I made all the berries. I made the blueberry and the whatever it was, raspberry or maybe strawberry. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have ate it when I was intoxicated.
Hey, Craig.
It tasted just fine though.
I never ate instant oatmeal until after I moved out on my own. Because my mom, when she'd make oatmeal for everybody, or for my brothers and I. And she'd get out and she'd get the Quaker oats out and she would cook it up and all this kind of stuff. And now
and you never had the instant oatmeal until then?
Till then.
Until you got it. Huh.
Well, you got to remember, they probably didn't. It was probably not, instant oatmeal was probably not developed until I was in my 20s. I don't know. I just never like I said, Mom made it from scratch, or as scratch as you can do it.
No, the line. Kathy thought that the line was. She assumed it was where you tear it at. No, it's a fill line. You fill up. You can fill up the envelope after you pour it in the bowl. You can fill up the envelope until that line with milk or water. Yeah.
You know, when I'm making my instant oatmeal nowadays, I just throw it in. I boil, I put the kettle on and I get the water boiling, and then I put the oatmeal in a bowl, and then I just keep adding
Put hot water
till it gets to the consistency. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be like you scoop it out and you can throw it on a dadgum plate and it'll hold its shape like Mount Rushmore. But I don't want it to be watery either. So I just keep adding water and letting it sit for a minute. And you got to let it sit for a minute too to absorb the water.
I know. And I think I was so hungry that I didn't let it sit. So I just ate it like it was. And I'm like, well, at least it's hot. I just wanted something warm in my belly. It tasted fine. I kind of like it a little bit chunky. Like I don't want it to be like paste or anything, but I do like it a little bit thicker than most people. Oh, sorry, Mary.
Mary, you getting married?
Yeah, she is. She's engaged. And we're all invited.
Open bar?
You didn't know you didn't know you were coming to Michigan for a wedding?
When is that? You better be doing the spring or summer.
next Halloween. It's gonna be a Halloween themed wedding. Super fun.
Somebody got married here. I stopped by to pick up some flowers, take my mom, and I was talking to the florist, and they had a bunch of like centerpieces, and they had like what's it, the Nightmare Before Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about. Was it Sally
and Jack?
Sally and Jack.
Jack.
They were like in inside the centerpieces, and then they had all these flowers around them and whatnot. And she said that they were having that was for the reception, and the couple was having a Nightmare Before Christmas wedding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. I'm with everything. I mean, I've been to Star Trek weddings. I've been to SCA meetings. I mean, weddings, if you know what that mean, what those are. Those like Society of Creative Anachronisms, where they dress up like in medieval garb and things like that.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been to a Victorian wedding.
Really,
SCA,
you like? She likes her oatmeal super chunky. Like she wants to make a sculpture out of it. Or she ain't having it at all.
Oh, marriage is not scary.
I don't know, man. I have Hulu right now as my TV, where
Right.
what I'm watching or whatever. And I'm watching what is it called? It's about them getting married at first sight or something.
Oh, Married at First Sight. That's what it's
Like
called.
why?
Married
No, it's yeah. Why not Married at First Sight?
okay.
They basically you know, put out a thing saying we're having a TV show. This is a, you know, you're basically saying that if you get picked, you are going to get married. Um, and so they pick like 3 different couples and they tell them separately because they don't see each other until the wedding. But separately, they say, you're getting married in 2 weeks. You need to prepare. You need to go buy your rings. They get the ring size and that's it. And then they, you know, get their dress and their tux or whatever separately and all of that. So it's kind of cool. And there's my husband. I'll be right back.
Well, that used to be called arranged marriages. That's going to be people want to be on TV too bad to go through that kind of stuff. Oh Lord. When I got married the first time, oh God, my in-laws spent a fortune on getting us married for it to last no time. We were real young. Not Alabama young. We were, we were around 21. I mean, it just, these people, and even used to be while, the bride's family spending all the money on the wedding and the grooms, all they got to do is do the rehearsal party. Well, people are spending as much on the damn rehearsal party now as they did the bride and groom, the bride's family spends on the weddings. Cool, Sharky Mom deals. So Todd's got a son that's engaged. He's gonna be. He's gonna have to get off the hip. He's gonna have to pay for a rehearsal party. That's gonna set him back 20 grand. I just think there's nothing wrong with having the traditional wedding and whatnot, but I just think people get kind of just carried away with that. Yeah, that's right, Hank. My first wedding, my first marriage, I bet we had 700 people, between 500 and 700 people at our wedding. And most of them were society acquaintances of my in-laws, ex-in-laws. Now, mind you, we got a bunch of presents, but but we had a big, huge one the first time. Roberta and we went to a friend of mine who's a notary in historic Brattonsville. We went down there and we were married, stopped at the, it's not the Golden Corral, but it was like a Golden Corral back in the day. And I can't remember. Quincy's. We stopped at Quincy's and had dinner and went home and went to bed because I had to get up at 4:00 the next morning and drive to Greenville because of work. So it cost us a marriage license, a couple of rings. I gave my friend that was the notary some money for thank you and for taking care of it for us, and dinner at Quincy's, and we were good to go.
You're gonna get married too, Kathy? I didn't know that.
Y'all been together for 50 years?
Wow.
Yeah, you do have to have witnesses.
That's cool. This year will be on Valentine's Day will be me and Brandon's 10th anniversary.
Well, that's great. We will be
Yeah.
married 26 years in August.
Woo-wee.
You know, and I remember before Roberta and I lived together for 6 months while we had some people chasing down her ex-husband to sign her divorce agreement. Because they had been separated for like 10 years. Anyway,
Yeah.
We got married, and our best friends had been married 5 years at the time. And I was thinking to myself, 5 years. Oh my God, that's such a long time. And now we're going on 26 and they're going on 32. And I know these people, they're not, I mean, they're acquaintances, they're not friends. And they've been married for like, they get married in 78. They cannot stand each other.
Rita says, I remember my 10th, well, then my 20th, almost 40. Then I could apply for parole.
But these people, they after being married 10 years, they decided they just they didn't like each other anymore. But they wouldn't get a divorce and they wouldn't move out of the house because, you know, that would cause, it was going to be too much problem. So
Yeah.
they've lived together all these years. They've always got, if they want to go see a movie, they always got somebody to go see a movie with. Or if they want to go on vacation someplace, you know, they always got somebody to go on vacation for. And I said, that's being married.
Yeah. That's, I mean, but like, then I guess they just don't have the love.
No, they don't. They like each other.
Yeah. Well, as long as you like each other, I mean, you could be married and just be friends, I guess. You know, as long as you're partners, you know, in your life.
When I got married the first time and I went and asked my future father-in-law, if I could marry his daughter, he said, well, Tom, tell me something. How do you feel about my daughter? And I said, well, I love her. He says, no. He says, do you like her? And I said, you know, I was like, yeah, I like her. He says, because you got to like somebody's ways. You got to like the way they do things. You can love them all you want to, but if you don't like the way they do things, it's never going to work.
Yeah. It was Brandon proposed to me, like, I think we were only together for about a year before he proposed, and then and he asked my dad first, which it was all right. I mean, it was kind of like old school a little bit, and then he proposed to me in front of my dad and my stepmom, and it was sweet, you know, and everything. He got down on his knee and everything. But we moved here like We were together for like 4 years, and we didn't get married. I was still married to my first husband. I hadn't got a divorce yet. Just because I didn't want to I didn't want him to know where I was. And so I I basically had Brandon serve him the papers because I felt like if Brandon served him the papers, then he wouldn't come after me, you know.
Well,
So,
it was with Roberta's ex. He wouldn't accept the papers because he was scared it was a warrant or something like that.
oh right.
And you know how he finally got it served. The lawyer
All
that was
right, time
handling
for
it
me to
for him.
go do battle with.
Okay,
I'll see
Have
you.
fun, get good stuff.
I'll see you
fighting.
later if you're still on.
No, we're
All
going to
right.
be wrapping up about 11. The lawyer that was handling it knew. I mean, he knew people at the sheriff's office, and he said, why can't y'all get these things served? And they said, because nobody will accept them. And so
Mhm.
finally, one of the deputies said, well, I know him. I know his mom. So he went over and to his mom's house, and he said, is he here? And she said, no, he's not. He said, and they did small talk for a minute. And he said, well, could you give him these for me? And she said, sure, baby. So he said, well, thank you. You have a good day. I'll talk to you soon. Well, he had been served. That's how we got it done. And then we were, I mean, after that, we got married. And,
Wow.
but, it's like he wouldn't accept the papers, or nobody would accept the papers because
It's
he was
harder
scared.
now.
It was scared it was a warrant or something of that. So he was being sued.
It's harder because you have to do I don't know. You have to go and fill out all the paperwork and then go take it to the courthouse, have it stamped, and then you have to wait so many days, and then you have to send or serve them, and then I mean, there's different steps for it now, and it takes about waiting and everything, the amount of time that you have to wait, it takes 3 months, either 3 months or 6 months. And I went to a class that tells you how to get divorced.
Right.
And so, they went through on how to do all the paperwork and everything, and I had custody of the kids, so it didn't, that didn't even pertain to anything with him. And then, and he really didn't. I mean, they were his kids, but um he didn't want custody or anything. So basically it was almost like as if we had nothing between us. So it wasn't really that hard of a divorce, thing to fill out, forms to fill out. So but it just took a lot of time for BS stuff, waiting for the courts and all of that. And it was
I
6 months
I,
or
I
something.
I don't understand people. A friend of mine, and every time I see something like this on TV, I'll text him and say, "Hey, man, you need to sue these people for you for stealing your story." He married a girl, and she had 3 small children, and um, and then they had another one. She had 3 boys, and then they had a girl, and he raised them. And then when his youngest son got into high school, he was a real good tennis player, and he was getting, I've mentioned it before. He would come home and there'd be boxes of Nike shoes, on the doorstep, wanting him to wear the stuff. And his son got to be really to the point where he was being, the universities were wanting to sign him. And
Wow.
all of a sudden, his biological father, he showed up. And he was like wanting to be part of the limelight and all this kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
he would never, he never paid any child support. He never did anything like that. And it was just, it was really irritated. And his son really, just my friend's son, because by this time it was his son. He didn't want the man around. And then the boy ended up being in a car accident, messed up his arm, his shoulder actually, and his tennis days were over. Which he got a nice settlement from that, because it was a guy who ran a stop sign and ran into him. And but if you're not going to, and like I said, he wouldn't sign the divorce. I mean, he wouldn't sign the papers or allow for the adoption to go through. So it's just bullshit. People are just crazy these days.
That's so cool, Kathy, that happened to you.
About
Yeah,
running back into each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fate right there.
That's special. That sounds like a
Mhm.
movie of the week over on the Chick Channel or Hallmark Channel.
Me and Brandon have very, I mean, I'm a numbers person whenever it comes to things happening, coincidences, that gets me, almost like deja vu. It hits me really hard. But me and Brandon have lots of coincidences, as far as numbers and stuff like that. It's pretty cool when you can find somebody that's like that. I think my mom sent them to me because my mom had just died the year before, and I had just got a new phone, and I opened it up and started messing around with it, and I could get the internet on it, and I got into an internet chat room, and I couldn't get out of it. Like every time I would go back, I would push the back button and it wouldn't take me out of the room. It would just like close the page or something. Anyways, I was like stuck in there, and I was stuck in there, and then Brandon was in there texting on his phone while he was driving. And he's like, he was driving from North Carolina to Michigan. And he says, "Well, I'm driving right now. Can I call you?" And so I gave him my number, and he called me, and then that was the end of that.
You were in California, right?
I was in California, and he was driving from, I think he was in Ohio whenever he called me. He was in Ohio. And I'm like, yeah. You need to call me because I don't want you to die while you're trying to text somebody. But that's the way that kind of stuff goes, is like, you can't get out of a chat room and then you find your husband. you know?
Well, you need to make up a T-shirt, Sally.
Yeah.
Don't leave the chat room too soon. You might find your spouse.
That's right. It's all about, people being open to, bring down your walls a little bit, I didn't think that was like, it was kind of stupid of me, to trust that it would work out. There have been so many horror stories that I heard, about people meeting other people online and stuff. And I don't know. I kind of just had to go with it because I felt really good about it.
My friend married a guy from Australia. Excuse me. Oh God, he would be having a damn fit. From New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand.
Yeah, he's from New Zealand. If you, um, and they met online, and they talked for about a year. Then he came over on holiday, and they spent some time. And they decided to get married, but he had to go home and do paperwork there, and then he came back, and then they got married. It's and they've been together 23 years.
Yeah.
But you know, unless it's really a very bad situation, I really would really want to get a divorce, because, which I've said before, there will not be another Mrs. Tom Hugs. If something was to happen to Roberta, I would not get married again.
Yeah.
I just find me some arm candy.
That's
they can have
what
all
I'm
of this.
saying.
Huh?
I would date.
Yeah, that's just it. You know, it's too much work, and everybody's got too much baggage and whatnot. And after all these years, Roberta knows my baggage, and I know her baggage, and our baggage is all grouped together in the daggum hall closet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, Hickory Springs, that's a Valerie too, isn't it?
Yeah.
When Roberta and I decided to get married, I told her, I said, I like being single. I don't have to get married, but I do want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the same way. She liked being single. We didn't have to get married. And I think that makes the difference right there, is that we were, and I was married when I was 20, and I was divorced by the time I was 21, and I didn't get married again until I was like 30, 26 years ago, whatever that is. So I was bachelor a long time, and I liked it because I went where I wanted to go. I did what I wanted to do, and she was the same way.
Did you live in that house, or you guys got that house after you got married?
After we got married, we bought it. We had an apartment uptown. Sharky Mom Deal says, yeah, it really is a Hallmark story or a Jerry Springer show.
Yep.
I would have left it at the Hallmark story. I wouldn't have brought Jerry Springer into it.
Well, Valerie was a Jerry Springer thing for many years until she met Mike. I don't know. She was probably single for probably 7 or 8 years after her first husband, and she had so many like awful experiences with guys. They were just horrible, and it's just like, and it was really hard. I was very surprised that she went after Mike like she did, because and moved to Kansas and all of that. When I found out she was moving to Kansas, I'm like, no way, because she wouldn't be. I mean, she'd run background checks on any guys that she went with. She she would stalk them a little bit. It was pretty crazy, but you almost have to. You don't know people. It can get crazy real fast. So yeah, it was drama. It was real drama. And then and then she's met Mike.
Somebody said that No, he was friends with me and my ex. Sharky Mom Deal said that. And I guess that's the fella that she's with now. But anyway, I bowled on a league, and there was a couple. I bowled with a single female friend of mine on this couples league, and there was there was a married couple that was our partners that we did not know until we started bowling. Well, we finished that league up, and the husband worked for a construction company, and they were finishing their project up, and we figured they had moved back to Pennsylvania where they were from. Well, they actually did not. They ended up splitting up, and he moved back to Pennsylvania, and she stayed in Rock Hill. And so she called me out of the blue and said, "Hey, bye, Rita." She said, "If you're not doing anything and if you're available, let's go have dinner." So we went and had dinner, and we started dating and whatnot. She was divorced, and it got to the point where I would be at her apartment, and she would talk to her ex-husband an hour every night. And I'm like,
that's nothing. Well,
wait
ex-husband, yeah.
Wait a minute. This is before, all the internet and stuff like that. And I'm like, you divorced the man, but you want to speak to him. I mean, but you talk to him an hour every night. Well, we're friends. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm old school. You don't be friends with the person that you divorced because there was a reason that you got a divorce. There was a reason you got a divorce.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about being an ass, because like my ex-wife, if I was to run into her right now, we would probably stand wherever we ran into each other and talk for an hour about what's been going on since the last time we talked. And then we'd go on our merry way. And we would, that would be it until the next time we happen to run into each other. Your what hurts?
My back hurts. I don't want to miss Jonah.
Eat it. Just frisbee it to the side. It'll just like.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it back.
I was like, please, my back hurts.
It's you got to you got to cut them loose.
I'm glad that your son found a girl that you like, Mary. That's awesome.
Yeah, as parents, that's what everybody worries about is, your kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And romance, that kind of thing.
No, don't do it to me.
Is that your kid or is that Brandon?
Yeah, it's my kid.
Hey, just pucker up your lips like you're going to kiss him, and then when he leans down to you, just smack him upside the head.
Oh, no, he's too good to be hitting on. He hasn't had a spanking in a very long time.
Well, it's 11:07, and I need to get something done. Thank you for coming in here and saving the show, Sally.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having it. I appreciate it.
So, won't be too much longer. Valerie will be back, and
I know I miss her guts so much.
I bet you do. Y'all see each other all the time, but you don't see each other, face to face. You know what I mean? And that makes a big. I mean, in person, not face to face, but in person. Y'all see each other every day, but you. So I know that makes it. I know that makes it hard.
I mean, I miss her, because I haven't seen her in a long time, but I miss her when I don't get to talk to her every day.
Right. Yeah.
Time to get to work, Valerie Hickey.
So listen, y'all, thanks for coming in. This has been the drama show today, I guess, because we've talked about everything. I think we've hit reselling about 5 minutes. It's been a live show today. So thanks for coming in. If anybody's not subscribed to Sally or to Todd, y'all be sure and hit that subscribe button for them. And we will see you. I don't know. I don't know whether Lori's gonna be able to. No, Lori's got something going. She's having surgery tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thursday.
I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Okay. Sally will have the show tomorrow. So we'll see you then. Y'all be sure and tune in. Bye.
Bye, guys. Get your stuff done.